what many people don't realize is that atheists are not officially allowed in the Boy Scouts of America. It is in their bylaws. Mm-hmm. And I've written about this a number of times. Every once in a while, Hemant Mehta, actually on the Friendly Atheist, points it out that, hey, the BSA, Boy Scouts of America, still don't like atheists to let everybody else in. But guess what? Atheists are considered to be not moral enough, not moral enough for the Boy Scouts of America. And now that's going to be really funny in the next story that we're coming on, but I want to tee it up. This is what I'm teeing up here. Okay. So the reason why the Boy Scouts of America don't allow atheists in is because every single den, every single small group of Boy Scouts has to be supported by a church. Now, this is different from the Girl Scouts of America. The Girl Scouts of America have not been infiltrated by the religious industrial complex of this country, but there were a lot of Mormon churches supporting the Boy Scouts of America, funding, supporting individual dens, and they are anti-atheists, and they have been spewing out their anti-atheist hatred via the Boy Scouts bylaws. Now, you may say, well, my individual den allows atheists in, and I would say to you, oh, flaccid atheist, oh, spineless one, and I don't care. Let the hate mail come in. I would not allow my child to be part of an organization that officially was against Black people, was officially against the LGBTQ community, against any minority. That is just wrong. And the idea that atheists allow their children to be part of the Boy Scouts is complicity. It is complicity with your own subjugation, with your own second-class citizen status. Shame, shame, nothing but shame. That's a Shakespeare reference to Henry V.
How do you really feel
in Battle
about
of Agincourt? But let me continue to the matter at hand. It turns out that the organization who doesn't allow atheists in, guess what? They're a bunch of freaking pedophiles. Who would have thought that? Now, this is not any new news for anyone who've been following the pedophile scandal of the Boy Scouts of America. But let me just give you some. What's that?
There are real pedophile scandals. Not a QAnon fake pedophile scandal.
Right. This is real stuff. This is real on stuff. The level of Catholic priest pedophile scandals here in the States. So I'm just going to read part of this article that's in the New York Times. This particular article is from the Dallas State Morning News, since I don't have to pay money to get to the Dallas Morning News. The name of the article is Over 81,000 people have filed sex abuse claims against Irving-based Boy Scouts of America, attorney says. And the subtitle is More Victims May Still Come Forward Before the Filing Deadline Monday Evening. At least 81,500 people have filed sexual abuse claims against the Boy Scouts of America as part of the Irving-based organization's bankruptcy proceeding. So they are declaring bankruptcy. And I'm going to let you guess why. I mean, this shouldn't be a surprise why they're declaring bankruptcy, since they have 81,500 people suing their miserable asses. Paul Mones, who has, and I'm probably butchering his last name, it's Mones, who has represented plaintiffs in such cases against the Boy Scouts for nearly 20 years, said more victims may come forward before the deadline Monday evening. I've been doing these cases longer than almost any attorney in the country, he said. Nobody thought numbers would be like this. In a written statement Sunday, the Boy Scouts said the organization is, quote, devastated by the number of lives impacted by past abuse in scouting and moved by the bravery of those who come forward. F you, Boy Scouts of America. What you are disgusted at is that you got caught and now you're being brought to justice for it. That's what you're ashamed of. That's what you're disgusted about. That's what makes you upset. But Mones said the number of claims filed may represent only a portion of the people who were harmed, because many sexual abuse victims do not report the crimes. Andrew Van Arsdale, an attorney with abuse in scouting, and I'm laughing because it's so crazy that there is an organization called Abuse in Scouting, recently told the Baltimore Sun that the organization submitted more than 12,000 claims. This is beyond all imagining that this many men have come forward, he told the Sun. So the Boy Scouts of America filed for bankruptcy protection in mid-February, saying the national organization intends to use Chapter 11 to process to set up a victims compensation fund. And when we mean set up a victims compensation fund, that means defending their own assets against these 81,500 people who are bringing them to trial, bringing a court case against them for the abuse. This story has been unwinding for years now, and now we're at this point with 81,500 people filing charges in a class action suit against the Boy Scouts of America.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised. You know, you have a church organization that has pedophilia in it. It's not Catholicism. You know, I've had this conversation with a lot of Christians, you know, because they try to point at Catholicism as that's the problem. And this is a problem that goes everywhere. It's in your Protestant churches across the world. It's in your homes. So yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised that a Christian organization has issues again and are setting up protections for itself against its victims.
I read in the New York Times article that the amount of people filing against the Boy Scouts of America are greater than the amount of people who filed against the Catholic Church. That's what I read in the New York Times article. People can check that out.
Well, yeah, and when it comes to go ahead, Chris. I'm sorry.
I was just going to ask if this spells the end of the Boy Scouts of America. How close
They've been squeezed. They've been squeezed. And this is the way how you deal with these freaking institutions too, by the way. You don't ask them to reform. You don't say, pretty please. You put pressure on them. You put pressure on institutions. And those that will reform, and those that don't will die. So either way, you get what you want, which is basically change. So the idea that people can just passively go along with the Catholic Church doing what they're doing, or with the Boy Scouts of America doing what they're doing, it's just wrong. You know, boycotts work, putting legal pressure on organizations work. What doesn't work is sitting around with your thumbs up your butt. That's what doesn't work.